hi guys. So, have you ever wondered why do some people's names seems to carry story, like Ivanovic or Jones Dottir? What if we change our names based on our father's names? So today, me, Fitra Tamara, we will be exploring the fascinating world of the patronymic system. It is a naming way to children. So, what is patronymic system? It is basically a way of naming children based on their father's names. It is more of a personal than a surname, and it is always changed every generation based on the father's names. And you might guys wonder how it works. So, for example, if there is a person named Ivan and his son is named Nikolai, and Nikolai's name is likely to be Nikolai Ivanovic. It is a Russian naming system, and it means that Nikolai is the son of Ivan, because it ends with Ovic. And also, as I suggested earlier, that patronymic is not the same with surname. Patronymic changes every generation depending on the father's name. And while surname stays the same, over the generation, it always stays the same. You always have the last name. And according to the Cormier and Corbett in 2003, they stated that this system is common found in places like Russian, Ireland, Southeast, and Middle East, and each of them has their own unique features, unique pattern, and rules depending on the law. And this is the Russian system. Ovic is for the male, and Ovna is for the female. So, for example, if a person names Fyodor Mikhailovic, it means that Fyodor is the son of Mikhail because it ends with Ovic, means that it is for the female also, the male only. Now, island system. According to the island naming committee, island people name their children traditionally like the patronymic system. So, son is for the male and Dottir is for the daughter. Like this, Anna Jones Dottir. Now, our cultures, there is Ibn for the son and Bint for the daughter. So, for example, Ahmed bin Abdullah. Ahmad is the son of Abdullah, or Fatimah bin Abdullah. Fatimah is the daughter of Abdullah because both of these indicates that they are from Arab. Now, South Asian, similar to the Arabic, bin and binti, especially in Pakistan and India, in Muslim, we will likely to find a bin and binti in the middle of their name. For example, Zubair bin Ahmed, Fatima binti Ahmed. It means that they're from. Next, Scandinavian. In Scandinavian, we found that son is for the male and daughter is for the female. And both of them will take their father's names in the last, and we will put the son and daughter in the last. Ben and Bat in Hebrew. Ben means son of, and Bat means daughter of. And Hebrew has a unique pattern. A Hebrew naming system put both of the parents in the last of the children's names. So this means that Abraham is the son of David and Sarah. So the patronymic system do more than to identify someone. It holds culture, identity, family ties, and it also holds so many stories that we can tell to the generations, over generations, based on the name it's on. And in Russian, according to the Cormier and Corbett 2003, they say that the patronymic system has become the official name format. And it is used for the formal document like passport, school document, and other formal documents. And however, with globalization, lots of countries still didn't accept the patronymic, and it makes that we may find mismatched data, and there is no data in the center information because of that. And through the years, unfortunately, this system slowly become instinct and it's losing popularity because people think that it is easy to use fixed surnames rather than the patronymic system. For example, we barely find this kind of name in the modern days. And most of these systems are patrilineal, means that the name of the children of the father's names. However, the modern voices are pushing for the metronymic systems, which reflects at the mother side. They want to take the mother names to the last of the children's names. And interestingly, in Russian and in Ireland, they are starting to make people to take the mother's names in the end of the children's name. For example, Christian. If Christian has a son, the name would be like Christian son or Christian daughter. And these are the people that have their parents' names. Fyodor Mikhailovich, which means that Fyodor is the son of Mikhail. He is a famous Roman author. And next, Anna Sergeyevna, which means that Anna is the daughter of Sergey. And you may wonder, why do people like them still keep their parents' names? Because it holds legacy, it holds stories and honors for the elders. And it will keep the story of their families to alive across the generation. Even if it's just a name, it already has story that will explain to the elders. And next, to sum up, the patronymic system is more than a naming rule. It is a bridge to the ancestry, and while some of them may adapt to the modern and neglect the system, this system still remain power in the people that use it. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Alia Nuruliza. What is lipstick? Lipstick is a makeup used on the lips. It gives color, shine, or soft feeling. People wear it for beauty but also for confidence. One small product can make someone feel bold, happy, or ready to face the day. Lipstick is more than just color, it's self-expression. The story of lipstick is very old. In ancient time, people used flowers, bugs, and fruit to color their lips. Cleopatra used red from beetles. In Europe, lipstick was once seen as bad, but over time it became popular and part of fashion. How lipstick works? Lipstick is made from wax, oil, and color. Wax helps it keep its shape. Oil makes it soft. The color gives beauty to the lips. Some lipsticks are creamy, some are dry, and some are shiny. Each type feels different on the lips. Types of lipstick. There are many types of lipstick. Matte is dry and bold. Glossy is shiny and smooth. Satin is soft and natural. Tint gives light color. Balm gives care and moisture. You can choose based on your mood or look. Everyday use of lipstick. Lipstick is a part of many people's daily life. Some wear it to feel ready for work or school. Some wear it just for feel good at home. A little color on the lips can change your whole mood and bring confidence. Lipstick in fashion and beauty trend. Lipstick is always in fashion. Red lips were big in the 1915. In the 2000, nude lips were popular. Now people wear all kinds of colors. Lipstick in art and pop culture. In music, film, and art, lipstick is a strong symbol. Stars like Marilyn Monroe and Lady Gaga use lipstick to show style and power. It can mean beauty, drama, or rebellion. It speaks even without words. The role of lipstick in gender identity. Lipstick used to be for women only, but now people of all genders use it. It helps them show who they are. Lipstick breaks the rule and lets people feel free to express their true self. Lipstick and confidence. Lipstick can change how someone feels. A bold red lip can make you feel strong. A soft pink can bring peace. Many people say they feel more themselves after putting on lipstick. It's like armor for the soul. The evolution of lipstick. Lipstick has changed a lot. Before, color were soft and natural. Now you can see green, black, or even rainbow lips. People now use lipstick not just for beauty, but send a message or show who they are. Lipstick in culture cultural rituals and beliefs. In many cultures, lipstick is part of special days like weddings or coming of age event. It can mean beauty, adulthood, or even respect. Lipstick can carry deep meaning, not just style. Lipstick symbolism in media and literature. In books and movies, lipstick can mean many things: love, danger, power, or freedom. A woman putting on red lipstick can be a sign she is ready to fight, flirt, and find the power. Beauty standard and lipstick marketing. Ads show us what is beautiful. In the past, they only show it fair skin and red lips, but now more brands show many skin tones and types and style. Lipstick marketing is changing, but still shape how we see beauty. Psychological impact of wearing lipstick. Wearing lipstick can change your mood. Some people feel more awake, more ready, or more beautiful. Studies say the makeup, even just lipstick, can boost confidence and reduce stress. Lipstick and gender stereotype. Before, lipstick was only for women, but today that idea is changing. More people, no matter their gender, use lipstick. It's helped break all rules and create new freedom in beauty. My personal relationship with lipstick growing up. When I was young, I show my mom and aunts wear lipstick. I was curious, but I had to wait. I used to play with old tops, dreaming of the day I could wear it too. Lipstick became part of my self-expression. I still remember my first lipstick. It felt magical. Now I choose different colors for different days. Red for brief days, nude for calm days, and it helped me speak without saying a word. Lipstick and sustainability. Now, more people care about the planet. Some lipstick are vegan, not tested animals, and made with less waste. Beauty can still be beautiful without hurting the earth. The future of lipstick. Lipstick is changing. Now, there are apps to test color. In the future, we may use AI to make perfect shade just for us. Lipstick will be smart, faster, and more personal. Conclusion: lipstick is small but full of meaning. It has a long history, deep culture, and strong power. It helps people feel seen, strong, and stylish. One small tube, many big stars. Thank you.
So, hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Della Filarmila, and today I'm really excited to share one of the things I love most in my life, dancing. So, my presentation is titled Why My Heart Swings, How I Feel in Love with Dance. Has anyone here danced before?
Yes.
Oh. Okay, so waiting for attraction, it all started here. I remember when I was in kindergarten, I was already drawn to dance and participated in dance competition until now. That moment was the seed of my love for the world of dance. Okay, so freedom of movement. For me, dancing is freedom. When I was moved, I feel like there are no limits. I can express myself completely without having to say a single word. My body becomes a tool to convey what I feel. Expression without words. More than just physical movement, dancing is the language of my heart. Emotions that are sometimes difficult to express with words. They can all be channeled through every soul, every step, and every body movement. It's my most honest way of communicating. So here, my video. Okay, so physical and mental strength. Dancing isn't just about art, but also about physical and mental strength. Every movement requires musical strength, balance, and high focus. Through practice, I not only train my body, but also calm my mind and increase self-discipline. So every mastered movement is a small victory. There's nothing more satisfying than finally being able to do a movement that previously felt difficult. This sense of achievement provides incredible motivation to keep learning and growing in the world of dance. Second, how more than just friends, we are family. The dance community I belong to is not just a place together for practice. Here we support each other and share our passion and celebrate every success together. They are my second home, by the way. Okay, so within this community, I found a home. The sense of belonging and the support I feel from my fellow dancers are invaluable. We share the same passion and inspire each other to become better. Okay, so releasing stress. For me, the dance floor is a safe space to release all burdens and stress, focusing on the movements, and the music helps me forget all my problems and find peace. Movement is the best therapy for my mind and soul. So next, finding yourself. Every movement is a trace of my identity. Through dance, I feel more connected to who I truly am. I can explore various emotions and characters through movement, and this helped me understand myself better. So next, simple joy. Pure and simple happiness. Behind all the technique and sometimes theory practice, there an infallible joy when I can move freely to the rhythm of the music. The simple movements are what make me love dancing even more. Okay, next, tradition and culture. Preserving stories through movement. Through Torajan dance movements, I feel like I'm helping to practice cultural heritage. This is my way of appreciating and connecting with my culture's roots. So there's always something new to explore. The world of dance is fast and always offer new challenges. I enjoy the learning process and continuously developing my skills. Every new movement I master is a step forward in my dance journey. So next, creative expression. Pouring ideas and imagination into movement. Dancing is a canvas for my creativity. I can interpret music and emotion into unique and personal movements. Every dance is my way of telling a story without words. Dance gives me the courage to shine. Through practice and performing, my self-confidence grows. Standing in front of people and expressing myself through movement gives me incredible strength and courage, not only on stage but also in everyday life. So next, more than just a hobby. This isn't just a hobby, it's a part of me. Dancing isn't just a leisure activity, it's an integral part of who I am. Without dancing, a part of me would be missing. It's a passion that flows in my blood. Next, hopes and dreams. Dancing for today and dreaming for tomorrow. I hope to continue dancing and share this love with more people. I dream of continuing to grow, inspiring others through movement, and maybe one day achieving Sangkar Seni Baluni. Okay, so conclusion. So those are some of the reasons why my heart always swings when I dance, from the freedom of movement to the sense of community, from expression without words to self-achievements. Dancing has given me so much color and meaning to my life. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my story about my love for dancing. I hope you all can also find your own rhythm of happiness in life, whatever it might be. Thank you so much.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone and good morning. My name is Tiffany Sabila and the topic I chose is about literary camp fall 2, which is the What is Lit Camp, by the way? Lit Camp is an activities made by Prasasti HMJ Bahasa Inggris and following by all active students from English Literature and from English Department and a guest from Language and Literature Faculty. When this activity takes place, Lit Camp is about 3 days. It's 14, 15, and 16 February 2024 with so much activities in there so we can have fun together for 3 days. Where the location is so strategic, Lit Camp takes place in Wisata Puncak Tinambu, especially in Wisololo. The track is hard with the roads are a bit damaged and slippery when it rains, and the climbs are very steep. This photo shows some of Comet and the participant cook and eat together in front of their tent. But the last day, we eat together all the participant guests and Comet in the open yard there. This is a vacation tips, especially you are camping in very cold place. You have to bring the thick jacket, more snake because cold weather can make you always hungry and tough on your antenna so that when you sleep you don't feel very cold. This photo is show all commit when we are do discussion so that these activities can success and the participant will not regret participating in these activities. How we get there? We ride a truck, an army truck. We use 2 trucks. Each truck filled with around 30 people. And the driver was very friendly. We talking and laugh together while the others sing along in the back. For these activities, I choose to be the head of the commit because I want to learn more about leadership so that I can, in the future, I can be the leader. The important things if your vacation is you have to bring medicine to get you always safe. And also don't forget to bring food. This is an activities we do every morning. We do exercise together. The commit and the participant have fun together and many people filming the moment. The activities we do in the last day is we do artwork. This activities is so fun and memorizing for all the participants, but also very tired because we climb the mountain and do some mission there. Activities benefit we get if we join these activities if we get certificate which is so beneficial for our CV and we also get so many new friends. If you camping in high mountain, you should choose a very good quality tent because if tent you choose is bad, you will get hypothermia because that was gonna be so cold. This is the sponsor for these activities. The first one is Sedia Outdoor. This gives us a voucher so we get discount if we rent tent in that. The next is Okasi Trip and the last one is Kabufood. In Wisata Puncak Tinambu, we can watch sunrise. The sunrise was so beautiful. This photo was not actually in Soloro, but the view will look like this. This is about we sit together in down the tree and we are talking together about why we choose this major, and I hear so many people made this major for their second choice. This is the last night. This activity called Pagawai Ekspresi is open with dance from Lentera, and so many participants sing and there are quiz. The present is clothes from Orkesik Arif. This is Kosi from Lidcamp, where there are prize distribution, a few words from participants about their experience during this activity, and many more. This is so memorable, all the comments sit together and we talk together. This moment was a sad moment because all the commit members cried because they finally success in completing this event. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Aiska Zahra and hi everyone. Have you ever walked into a room with people and think that how do I even start a conversation? So making friends sounds easy, but for many of us, it's one of the hardest social things to do. So today, let's talk about the fear and how we can overcome it. And why are we scared of making friends? So it should be something natural, but for many of us, it's scary. Why? Because there's always fear behind it. Fear of being judged, fear of being ignored, fear of not being interesting enough, and those fear make something simple feel so big. And actually, the science says it's normal. So that nervousness you feel is actually normal. According to Dr. Robin Dunbar, in his study, our brains evolved to manage social groups, and fear of exclusions help us to survive. So you're totally fine if you're nervous. And social anxiety. But sometimes it goes deeper. Social anxiety is a fear of social situation where you feel might be judged or embarrassed. And it can affect how you feel, how you talk, how you walk, and even how you breathe. So why do we need friends? I think some of you know the answer. It's because friendship matters. I think it can reduce our stress by hanging out with them, and even they are the people who reminds us that we're not alone. So they're not just a want, but they're just a need. And also there is introvert myth. Many people think that introvert can make friends easy, but that's not the truth because introverts prefer many meaningful conversation over small talk. So they observe, they listen, and they think deeply. And I know that sometimes the first hello is the hardest, but once you say it, the rest slowly gets easier. So most people are too focused on their own nervous, so they don't notice your awkwardness. So just say it. Just start to say hello. And if you need a helping start, try icebreaker tricks. So ask something simple like, have you been to this event before, or what's your favorite movie lately? So these small questions are not meaningless, but they are the doors to open to a deeper talk. And don't forget to pay attention to the body language, like facial expressions, hand gestures, and the body gestures is a form of non-verbal communication. So it matters when you talk to people. So even when you're nervous, the body language can help you. Or you can share interest. So talk about interest like hobbies, music, sports, food. So when someone says like, oh my god, me too, nah, that's where the connection begins. So you don't have to impress people, but you just need to relate. And joining the clubs, events, and study group works. They're the best way to meet people who already share your interests. So you don't have to do all the work, but the shared place will do that for you. So you can find them on Instagram, X, or the others. And also there there is a term, the 7-second rule. So people form impression fast and only takes 7 seconds. So what do you do with that? Just smile, say hi, look open, be warm. So you don't have to be perfect, but just presenting yourself in your best. And don't forget about the small talk. We love to hate a small talk, but it matters. It's like a warm-up questions before a real conversation. So talking about the weather might not be deep, but it's a way of saying, hey, I'm friendly. And remember that messing up is okay. So you will messing up. You might say something weird or something out of topic, but that's okay. That's not the end. So what matters is that you keep going, you learn from it, and also you improve it. And there is a terms like fake it till you make it works here. So pretend to be confident and your brain will catch up. This is not a lying, but it's a practice. So because confidence grows by doing, so if you feel scared, act like you're not, and for a few seconds. So that's all the begins. And next is listen more to your interlocutor. Everyone loves good listeners. So when you really listen, people feel seen and valued. So you can try to ask open-ended questions, nodding, smiling. Then I bet that the person will remember how you made them feel. And the next is the rejection is not the end. Because sometimes people won't respond the way you hope, and that doesn't mean they are wrong with you. So or they're not interested in you, but maybe they're too busy or you're just not matched. But that's okay. And the key is keep trying. So making friends takes time, so it's not an instant, but some people click fast, or while the other need a few tries. But don't give up, because the more you practice, the easier it becomes. It's like the ladder. So for the recap, making friends is a skill, but not a gift. So we often think that friendship comes naturally to others, but actually it's a skill, like learning to ride a bike. So to succeed in making friends, there are a lot of ways. Start from small talk. You can try step by step. And for the last, I will challenge you to try to say hi to someone new this week. So it must be a new person. So just hi, and it could lead you to do nothing and could change your life. So you'll never know unless you try it. So thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ida Fauzia Harwan. So I want to talk about mirror matters. Mirror is an item that I think is very important for anyone, especially a woman, and including myself. I decided to take this topic because the mirror crossed my mind, and also the mirror is like half of my soul. So mirrors are old, about 8,000 years ago. People used shiny black obsidian as mirrors. Then ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, and China made them from metal and around 4,000 before Christ. And in ancient Egypt and Greece, people used them in religious rituals and believed mirrors could show the soul. And later, mirrors become symbols of beauty and self-reflection. And some cultures thought mirrors were a bit scary, like bringing a bad luck or holding someone's soul. Think seeing yourself in a spoon, not clear, right? Early mirrors were like that, but when people made glass shiny, seeing yourself becomes super clear, and suddenly mirrors were just for the rich, and they got cheaper and started showing up everywhere. And think about all the places you see mirrors every day. First thing in the morning in your room, then maybe in the bathroom or the first floor at the campus when you arrive at campus, and now even cell phone cases has mirrors. And I think it's one of the best ideas anyway. And for me, having a mirror nearby feels like a necessity. I have this urge to check my reflection often, and I feel a little off without one. It might be an obsession. Yeah. So You know, since I was teenager, I've somehow ended up with so many mirrors. I think I've lost count, and I have to admit they don't always have the longest lifespan with me. I've had my fair share of accidental breakages. For me, and I think for a lot of us, a mirror is very useful for making small fixes throughout the day, especially when it comes to making sure my hijab is just right or checking if my makeup, especially my lip tint, still looks good. Do you girls relate? Yes! Ever look in the mirror and think, oh, that's what I look like right now? It's like each time you see yourself, you get a little update, a fresh view of how you are in the moment. Mirror helps us keep up with ourselves. It's in a way. So I have a little mirror. It's my constant companion, and honestly, I feel a bit lost without it. And I have many of these little mirrors because they sometimes break in my bag or fall, but I always have one with me. You know that feeling when you realize you forgot something you really on? For me, sometimes that is my mini mirror. It's not a disaster, but there's this little nagging feeling, a slight uncertainty about how I look throughout the day. Maybe some of you already know this, but let me just quickly say how we see ourselves in the mirror. It's all about light. Light rays hit the mirror and bounce back at the same angle they came in. Our eyes catch these bounce rays, and our brain makes it into the image we see our reflection. I'm sure you've thought about this. The way we see ourselves in the mirror is flipped, but that's not how other people see us directly. Even if we think our face looks a bit uneven in the mirror, that's probably not what others notice. You know that feeling, the longer you look in the mirror, the more little things you start to critique about yourself. Something you suddenly feel self-conscious about. And the funny thing is, those are often details other people wouldn't even notice. So I saw something online recently that said that looking in the mirror too often can drain the aura or positive energy from your face. Myth or fact, it's interesting how mirrors can be linked to this kind of belief. But what do you think? Thinking about that draining aura idea, it kind of makes sense in a way. If you look at your face in the mirror all the time, you might start to focus too much on every small things. Maybe looking at yourself so much could make your face seem less natural to other people. You know, you can use your phone camera to check yourself, but it just doesn't feel the same as a real mirror, right? But it's kind of cool how now there are phone cases with mirrors on the back. Makes it way easier to quickly check yourself when you're out. And sometimes I wonder, do I really need to carry a mirror, or is it just a habit? Maybe it started as a habit, but over time, it feels like a small need that helps me feel calm and ready to face people. A mirror might look like a small thing, but for many women, it's part of the daily routine. It's like checking our phone or putting on perfume. It's not about being perfect, just making sure we're okay to go. It may sound kind of trivial, but in my opinion, a mirror is truly one of the most important things in life. It's a small thing, but it helps me feel ready, sensible, and a bit more confident every day. And I think some of you guys relate or agree. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Alright everyone, I'm Iren. So today I will present Puja. So you have here the song. Oh my heart, don't you please, but now the song is Billie Eilish. Today I will discuss the phenomenal journey of the young star who is selling what the music work with the so and that's background. Billie Eilish was born in Los Angeles into the family of music and actor. Since she was little, she has been writing songs and singing. He has Big Home Become, and then is debut song in One's Ace. So One Ace is song that changed Billie Eilish's life. Initially recorded for this dance class, I went to Peruvian to upload to SoundCloud herself, and then this conversation with Finesse. Finesse, the older brother, is Billie Eilish's main producer. They create music together from their bedroom. This collaboration resulted in original and very personal song. And next is unique music style. Billie's style is very different. Her music is soft but dark. Her lyrics are honest and emotional. She creates new genre and combination of pop, electro, and touch of horror that competitive listening. And then here the album when we all fall asleep, where don't we go? So marked the fight of their success with his like Bad Guy and very advanced. The album was praised for its dark lyric. And next is Bad Guy. So Bad Guy became an iconic song with the Catholic beat and quite lyric. The song celebrated the image as an anti-pop star. And next is Happier Than Ever. Her second album, Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish, showed her as artist go up an expression of more complex themes. And next is Song Is Big Flower. Song Is Big Flower can refers to symbol of freedom and vulnerability. It reflects the nuance of Billie's song, tender and yet holding their meaning and hidden emotions. So in nomination and years and 18 Billie Eilish were up for major Grammy category. That history has since won dozens of other awards, signaling industry recognition. So next is the documentary. The word is the Blurry, explore Billie Eilish's career and personal life, showing her creative process and family relationship. The film was well received by critics and fans. So is next concert tour. Billie Eilish takes present his energetic and personal. She makes context film. And next is collaboration with artists. It has worked with modern musicians like Justin Bieber and Khalid, but she always keep her style. Authentic, never losing her unique voice against collaboration. And then stage style and fashion. Billie Eilish's style is bold, oversized, gender neutral, and full of messages. Fashion for her is the front of self-reflection and expression. And then pop culture really has become symbol for a younger generation. She influenced fashion trend, music, and even the way young people express themselves present on social media. And then musical legacy, despite being so young, Billy has already described the life for artists who wants to break free from the old ownership from hairstyle and then is environmental activity. Billy is very vocal about environmental issue. She has vegan, support a ban on single-use plastic and use her doors to education fight about climate change. So in conclusion, Billie Eilish is more than a music singer. She is the voice of the generation of visual artists and world activists. Her music is moving and style liberating and creativity is already being cultivated. So maybe that's all for me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Asma Aulia. Hello. Today I wanted to talk about my favorite anime. That is One Piece. One of the most famous manga and anime in the world. It's a story about adventure, freedom, and dreams. It's not just popular in Japan, but also loved by fans all around the world. That's why it's special to me. One Piece. One Piece was made by Eiichiro Oda. It first came out in Weekly Shonen Jump in 1997 until now. It's still going and it's the best manga of all time. Oda has worked in the story for more than 2 decades, showing amazing innovation. How I started watching? At first, I was not sure to be watching it because so many has episodes, but I tried a few. I got hooked. It was funny, touching, and full of surprise. I didn't expect and enjoy it so much, but it quickly became one of my favorites. And from all the characters is Luffy. Luffy is not a normal hero. He's simple, he's funny, sometimes he's silly, but he has strong and kind heart. He always stand up for his friends. Even if the worst against him, his energy and spirit are inspiring. And one thing that shows is the stray hat. The stray hat is not just accessory. It was a gift from Shanks, a pirate who inspired Luffy's child. The hat symbol Luffy promised and dreamed to become the pirate king. That was everything begins. With the very worst experience reminded of her promise and his journey. For Luffy, being a pirate is not about stability, it's about freedom. He wants to save freely the world he loves and meet amazing people. One thing is sure, he is not being pirate, his true values. He believes in life, his own terms, and helping others. And to his dream, he also had unique power. His body is strict like rubber, thanks to a mysterious squid egg. Gung Gung no, the types little breed, this gave him with burger bunch. Luffy is not alone. He has friends who are more like family. Each of them are a stream of power and story that makes the journey exciting. Their friendship and loyalty are the hero and the story tradition. Let's start with the word Drum, who always get lost even though he never miss it. Zora is woman with a strong will. His dream is to be the best in the world. He is loyal to Luffy and will give up his life to Ryu. His calm and strong nature makes him a key part of the team. He trains her. And next, the smart navigator is Nami. Nami is the brain of the ship. She used to steal to save her village, but she joined Luffy because she believes in his kindness. She shows that true strength is not just muscles. It's also from her mind. She's brave, intelligent. Now, the cook who is not only good at food but also fighting is Sanji. Sanji is gentleman and great cook. He loves food, respect moment, and strong values behind his flirty style. Okay, next is the sniper who is kind but full big dreams. Is Usopp. Usopp is often great and tells big stories, but that his real power. He's brave even when arrived. He shows that normal people can do amazing things if they don't give up. He's a swimmer and that makes it easy to relate to Treasure. After knowing the crew, we must understand that One Piece world is not simple. One of the biggest powers in the world is not world government. The world government looks like zookeeper, but often the kids shoot and abuse the power. This becomes a strong social message in the story. We can see this clearly in the emotional is early part. Nami hides her pain for a long time. Then she tries Luffy for help. He answers with just one line, "Of course." It's one of the most emotional scenes that show what's this. Their journey to go to the circumstance danger is Alabasta. In Alabasta, they help Princess Phoebe fight crocodile. The story is full politics, betrayal, and people struggle, but it's still told in a touching and a fun way that makes One Piece special. Next, but their one art is even more emotional. It's Marineford. Luffy tries too hard to save his brother, as but in the end, as dies. This moment shocked many fans, and it changed Luffy deeply. It's heartbreaking and shows how cruel can be even to good people. After S dies, the crew tricks break from 2 years in different places. When they come back, when meet again, everything feels different. Like stronger, wise, and ready for bigger challenges. Next is the world after the time skip is even more intense. Is Wano. Wano shows all Japanese culture. The people are agriculture and live freedom. And the main enemy is Kaido. The art is beautiful, deep, and has strong. From all this adventure, we can learn that One Piece teaches about friendship, never giving up, and chasing your dreams. Luffy is not perfect, but her connection inspire many. That story encourages you to be solve and believe in our dreams no matter what. And the message is One Piece not just inspired story. It's about chasing dreams no matter what happens. Like Luffy said, I will become king of the pirates. The line reminds us to stay true to ourselves and never stop moving forward. Okay, maybe that's all I need.
Well, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Mila Awalia, and now I would like to present about batik, one of the most beautiful cultural heritage. And from this, you can learn about its history, meaning, and how it stays alive in today's era. As we know that Indonesia is rich not only in the nature but also in a culture. And from Sabah to Merauke, many traditions live together, and one famous cultural treasure is batik. So let's explore the story behind its beautiful patterns. And according to Trisno, the word of batik comes from Japanese, where amba it means to write and titik means dots. It shows how people made batik by writing dots on fabric. So we can know that our ancestors already had this beautiful art long ago. And from this slide, we can see that a difficult process batik writing is made by hand. It takes time, patience, and also artistic skills. And one pieces of batik can take some weeks or even some months to finish it. For stamped batik, it's made for faster production, and people use the copper stamp and not wax. Even though it's quicker, it still has artistic value and helps more people enjoy the batik. For natural color, in the past batik used natural colors from plants in tints. For example, blue came from indigo, brown from soga, and also yellow from turmeric. It shows the harmony between the batik and the nature. And you know guys that each batik motif has a meaning. For example, in this slide is a batik Parangkawu
symbol of status long ago, and some batik motifs were only for royals. For example, Parangkawung was only for kings, so this batik show as their social class and their identity. And from this slide, batik as a currency, believe it or not, batik was once used like a money, where people trusted its value and used it in a trade. So this is so special from the batik. Okay, this slide shows that each region in Indonesia has its own style like Solo, Pekalongan, Cirebon, even Papua. So all the motif tells the stories about nature and beliefs and local life, where batik is like a nature cultural map of Indonesia. Okay, we move to the batik modern fashion today, that where batik is used in many ways like dresses, sweets, even sneakers. So the local and the global designer use batik in their work and make stays popular and fresh. And this slide shows creative innovation from batik, where young people now make modern batik with a fresh touch like neon colors, digital patterns, and also mixed style are popular. So from this, batik can grow, but it still keeps the roots. Okay, according UNESCO 2009, says batik is a part of the world cultural heritage. That's why we celebrate the batik every October 2nd, and this shows that the world respect and the values of our batiks. Okay, batik in diplomacy, where batik is often given as a gift in diplomacy to guests from other countries. It shows the kindness and pride of Indonesian people. And batik can speak for us that showing the rich tradition and good values of Indonesia to the world. Okay, so this slide show the global influence world leaders like Nelson Mandela and Barack Obama have worn batik. This is not just respect but also proof that batik is international from local to the global show, and batik can inspire many people in the world. Okay, batik in education, where many schools have batik uniform on certain days like a Wednesday or Tuesday. It teaches children to love their culture and also to learn the value of heritage. About women and batik, where women play a big role in making batik. Their hand create art and also support their family. So batik is a work of love and care. Yeah, this slide show about the creative economy, where batik industry gives jobs, helps small businesses like exhibition and festival, and also explore, show as a big values where culture can support the economy too. And the last, batik show who we are as a nation, where in each pattern there is history, spirit, and the beauty. So let's keep the batik alive in our daily life and be proud of it. So I think that's enough from me, and thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, my name is Alvario, and now I'd like to present more detail about K-pop. Not just the music, but also the system, the people, and why so many people are crazy about it. So if you're curious or already a fan, this presentation is for you. K-pop stands for Korean pop. It has good catchy music, cool dances, and also visuals angels. Like they are so pretty. So in a K-pop group, members have roles like main dancers, main rapper, even visual. Their job just being attractive. So modern K-pop started around 1992 with Sotaji and Boys. They mixed American style like rap, pop, like that to their music. And and change it until right now. And then before debuting, idols like train for sing, dance, so fucking hard, and then they don't know how they debut. And then when debut is not just releasing music, but also shooting music videos, and then promoting their song, and then their group also, and also practice 24/7. In a K-pop world, there are two concepts: dark and bright. In a dark concept, it's more like bold, strong, raw like that. And then in a bright concept, it's more cute, super shy, like that. This is interesting part. In a fandom, K-pop fandom cultures, they like a family, strong family. Like they stream together, they buy many albums of their idols, sending food trucks to when their idol is filming and voting. So K-pop right now is globally. So K-pop group making collaboration with global artists like this: Twice with Megan, Jonas Brothers with TXT, and also BTS with Halsey. So in K-pop, this is the one of the interesting in K-pop because they have dance challenges in social media like this. They do this because they want to promote having fun like that. So in idol life, when they're busy, they photo shoot, doing interview, promoting their group, like that. But in the resting time, they just sleep, play games, like that, or traveling. So, and then in K-pop, there are big four agencies: YG Entertainment on Blackpink, JYP on Twice, HYBE on BTS, and also SM on Super Junior, if you know. So they have purpose to big. So in the economic impact in South Korea is crazy. Like K-pop fan in international K-pop fan go to visit in South Korea just for watching their concert and many more. So in K-pop, they have so much pressure to make beautiful body and face like this. They are pretty, they are sexy, they're must, their body fit like that. I'm as a K-pop stans, so waiting for K-pop awards because I'll see my idols' performances, their speech, and for idols this is the most successful for them. So right now, K-pop is globally. So K-pop group have also global and international members like Hearts to Hearts and Black Swan. And Hearts to Hearts have our Carmen from Bali. And then different between K-pop and Western group. K-pop group is more like the son of the company. Like they are so strict, but Western group like just chill, like indie style vibes like that. I love K-pop music because of this. They have another country language to make song more catchy, and then to make international fan can understand like this. Alternative platform for fans, there are two: Bubble and Weverse. The purpose of these apps is posting selfies, chatting with with fans live, it makes fans more happy. This is my favorite game. This is my favorite K-pop group. There are so many, right? So Ida, where are you? Hey, what is your favorite K-pop group?
NCT Dream.
Oh, I like it. What is your favorite song of them?
Yes. Hello Future.
Oh, I like that. So that's it. If you want to, if you don't understand what is I don't understand what I say, so you can check this website to more understand about K-pop. So that's all from me. Thank you.